Hi there, I'm Rex King, and welcome back to From the Archive. Michael Crichton is probably one of the most well-known names in science fiction writing to date. He wrote the source material behind the Andromeda Strain, The Terminal Man, Twisters, and of course, Jurassic Park. But there are very few films that he directed and wrote. In fact, amongst those 9 movies or so, there's only one that stands above the rest: Westworld. And this film is definitely a huge part of his legacy. So, Westworld basically came about because Michael Crichton, after the success of the Andromeda Strain movie, really felt like he wanted to not only continue to write for movies, but he also wanted to try his hand in directing. So he came up with this idea. The only studio that really bought into it was MGM, who at the time was kind of known for interfering in the films that they were making. So Michael Crichton was a little bit skeptical, but the producers did assure him that they would have minimal involvement. But they still insisted on several rewrites and didn't sign the cast until 2 days before shooting was due to start. The film went on to star Richard Benjamin, James Brolin, and Yul Brynner. And also is one of the first films to use digital effects, as it was used to showcase the vision of the gunslinger, the chief antagonist in the film. The film was released on August 17th, 1973, and was a huge success. It had a budget of $1.2 million and made $10 million at the box office. And it was a decent success with critics as well, and audiences dead flocked to it, and there's no doubt behind its legacy. After all, Arnold Schwarzenegger is on record as saying that the gunslinger in this movie inspired how he moved for the Terminator, and there's no doubt that the way the gunslinger sees went on to inspire another creature that also sees with infrared vision, aka the Predator. But does this film really hold up, or should it have been forgotten and put by the wayside? Well, let's talk about it. So, for those of you who don't know, Westworld takes place basically in this futuristic theme park that consists of 3 worlds. One is Roman world, a world where you can experience ancient Rome, medieval world, where you have the decadence of medieval Europe, and Westworld, where you can experience an old western town. These worlds are inhabited by lifelike robots. And basically, tourists come for $1,000 a day, which I'm guessing was a lot back then, and they basically get to experience these worlds, get to really do whatever they want, live out their fantasies. And we follow our two main characters, played by Richard Benjamin and James Brolin, who are going to Westworld, and basically the film follows them for the most part as they have fun. However, every so often we peel back the curtain and realize that not all is right with this world and things are starting to go wrong. So, yeah, Westworld's an interesting movie. On one hand, there is a lot going on here behind the scenes, as you can definitely tell that there was a lot of undertones of the dangers of relying too much on machinery and the dangers of corporate greed prioritizing money over the safety of the guests at said theme park. But you can also tell that Michael Crichton wasn't fully able to explore these ideals. For example, we have a statement in the film by one of the mechanics that at this point, the robots are being made by computers and other machines, and none of the engineers fully understand how they work. That's an interesting idea that doesn't get fully explored. Also, like I said, they talk about shutting down the park, but they don't because they don't want to lose money. Again, an interesting idea, if fully explored. And that's pretty much my issue with this film. There's a lot of interesting things here, but the film wasn't allowed to have time to go through those ideas, and wasn't allowed to fully flesh them out. As a result, it feels like there's a lot cut from here that needed to be put back in, and that is a huge problem I have. That being said, the characters and performances are really well done for the most part, and I really enjoyed Yul Brynner in this film as the gunslinger. I felt his performance was spectacular. Mind you, this is basically his character from The Magnificent Seven, but I digress. At the end of the day, Westworld has a lot of interesting things going for it, but it's just not fully fleshed out. This is evident when most of the film is basically our two main characters messing around in Westworld, not really doing a whole lot. And when it comes down to the final climax, it's a little lackluster and feels a little slow. And that's kind of an issue I have. But there's no doubt you can see the influence that this film would have in future science fiction if you ever watch it. It is a really important film, and that is obvious from the get-go. And I didn't hate it. I did enjoy myself. The weird Western tropes that they include here on purpose made me kind of enjoy this film because I like Westerns and I kind of like those tropes. So, yeah, this film did entertain me. It's just not as good as it could have been. But a lot of you are probably asking, is it as good as the TV show that came out in 2016? Well, that's actually not the first TV show that came out. There was another one in the 1980s called Beyond Westworld, and this movie even had a sequel called Futureworld, which we will not talk about. But to answer your question, is this 90-minute movie better than a 4-season TV show that has plenty of time to flesh out its characters and still doesn't fully succeed in it? No, but you really shouldn't be comparing this to that show. You should go into this movie as a standalone film and completely ignore its legacy it has to fully enjoy it. Then you can see what happens in the movie and how it would inspire the different movies that would come after it. Like I said, Westworld's an important film to science fiction, and that's really something I can't help but suggest that people watch. It is a good movie. I am being a little hard on it, but I do recommend it, and I definitely recommend it as a buy as well, especially if you're any science fiction enthusiast. Anyway, that's my opinion on Westworld the movie. What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments below. And next time, we take a look at the 1948 version of The Three Musketeers. See you then.